Hey guys, this is Tom Box. Thanks for tuning into MST.TV, and as promised, I'm going to be delivering to you guys today my personal Drytron deck profile, updated to be top tier, meta level competitive, and that's why we're here today. Now, you guys aren't strangers to Drytron, no doubt, because you guys have been following it for some time now. It's been in the format for some time now, so I'm going to whiff mainly through my entire deck profile, and I'm only going to focus on the combo portion of this deck, because there are some hands that I see as full combo, which my peers do not see as full combo. I'm going to explain the reason why you're doing certain things in each step so you guys can understand the graphs. And don't forget to check out MSTmerch.com, where you guys can pick up the orange sleeves, which is available right now, and they've been selling like hotcakes. And there's also the blue sleeves that are still available right now. And one of the additional products is that now we have over sleeves for you guys to check out. And you'll get a close-up look of these cards or these products in this video, so we'll check it out, and you guys can get them in a bundle as well. So anyways, let's get into the deck profile. Let's kick this one off. Alright, we're going to speed run through the deck profile. If you guys want the details, check out the older videos I have of Drytrons. They explain it in more detail. Now, we start off with Drytron Alpha Thuban, triple copies of that because this is our generic Ritual Monster Searcher, one of the best starters we have. We also have triple Zeta, kind of the same deal, but this one searches for the Ritual spell. In either case, the Diviner is going to fill for the missing slot. Then we have triple Gamma, which is our extender that lets us play through the hand trap, at least end on something that is rather powerful, thanks to the ability to generate additional bodies, and it alone can make a move beta. Now we have one copy of the Delta, because this is just the additional name, and it can provide you with a draw sometimes. And now we have one copy of Eva, because now it's limited to one. Honestly, I only played one copy previously because I only had one copy. Now we're just going to be stuck with it. If it's good enough to top a YCS, I think it's good enough for anyone. So now we are going to the fairies, our only normal summon of the deck that is key here, which is going to be the Diviner of the Herald. This is going to be both your ritual add for the spell or monster. It really depends on where you're going to go. And also Entis Pop. This is a generic pop as well, which is why I choose not to play Phoenix. Now for the hand trap package, triple Ash Blossom Joyous Spring. I think it just has a bit more coverage this format because there's going to be a bit more virtual world for the time being, and then maybe it'll be phased out later on. But with triple Emergency Teleport, we're going to see a bigger surge of virtual world. So this has a little bit more impact than say the Imperm. And I'm only running the Herald of Orange Light. It might not be correct just running 6, but I rather play stuff that breaks a board now, because when you break a board, sometimes you actually put them as like you just put them in a position where they become a sitting duck, and that makes it a little bit easier to play. Go into Zeus and wipe the rest of the board. That's what I'm choosing to go into. If that's not your playstyle, feel free to put the Imperms back in. I still side the Imperm as a little side note there, because it's still really good. And nonetheless, I am going to go into the Ritual package. I played the package of 5. We have 1 Meteonis Draconids, Ida 10, Ben 10, Natasha, and the Ultimateness. If I'm going to be going first, typically I would side out the Natasha, but going into the first game, I don't know if I'm going to be going first or second, so the Natasha is quite crucial for breaking boards. I usually kill my opponent with the Natasha in the game 1. If I don't win the die roll and they make me go second. Natasha, I try to load my grave with both of these rather than going for the ultimateness. Natasha eventually goes into the extra stack stuff and just breaks the board and just kills my opponent just straight up. I don't even need to think about it at that point, because breaking the board with Natasha is the most easy thing to do. And as of the last 2 monsters, yes, we are playing Dark Magician and Red Eyes Black Dragon. Why would you not do this? The logic behind the Dragoon package is quite simple. It's just, hey, my opponent is going to disrupt me with a bunch of hand traps. I'm going to be ending my hand or my board with just 2 monsters. I'm going to go into Verti Anaconda, and this is pretty much the safest Anaconda I can go into because there is nothing left for them to negate, and now they have to play against the Dragoon. That's why they play it, and that's why even if they do open with a piece or 2, it's not too bad. Spell lineup: 1 Red Eyes Fusion. We have 1 Call by the Grave, 1 Foolish Burial, which I always side out because lots of people play Alive Justice Cycle Reader. Triple Droplet is the reason why I don't play the 3rd set of hand traps. It's just because this can handle most situations. Even if I'm dealing with, say, a Mechaba, this can turn off a Mechaba on its own, which is fine by me. Next, the 1 Drytron Fafnir, because I don't want to play into too many Drolls personally. I've seen people main deck Drolls already, and this is basically the 4th copy of the Drytron Novas. So that's just kind of where it leads to. But if I already have the Drytron Nova, it's nice that I don't need to open a Zeta to get the ritual spell. Next, we have triple Cyber Emergency. It's the Rhoda of the deck. Only double Preparation of Rites. Man, this one's coming out here. But yeah, double Preparation of Rites, because I just need to see Ben 10 sometimes, and this is just an easy way of getting Ben 10. Just gives you a lot more consistency overall, depending on whatever like mix and match of a hand that you get. This is just the one to go to. I previously played Extra Foolish Burial, but with the Dragoon package, you just don't have enough life to play. And play 2 copies of Meteonis Drytron, and that makes up for the entire lineup of the main deck. Play 2 in the game 1 because you're going to be able to combo with some of the smaller hands available. Extra deck wise, starting off with the key monsters, we have Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal, our Foolish Burial for anything that we need in the deck since we're a grave centric deck anyway, and our Mu Beta, which are additional Foolish Burial for any Drytron card. Usually you're going to be dumping a Gamma, or sometimes you're going to be throwing into the ritual spell into the graveyard if you don't have access to it, which is fine too, because everything eventually links into each other, and that's what you need it for. And this is just an Omni Send, which is really good because it can send your boss monsters into the graveyard, and send, of course, Eva. Next, we have our Fucho and our Downer, plus our Zeus package. This is the mini Zeus package. Fucho being unaffected by everything makes it probably the hardest thing for your opponent to counter, especially after they burned out most of their cards and they don't have, say, a Solemn Strike to take care of this anymore. That's the key point here, so that you can stack this and go into a Zeus and it's still alive and you can use it right away. And don't forget, you can ritual off the Zeus's material as well, since it is a light machine. Next, let's go into the stuff we throw into the graveyard through Diviner. We have Herald of Arclight and Entis, and just don't play Maximus if you're going to be playing against Drytron. It's suicide at that point. Now we have our Link package. We have 1 Linkaribo just in case we go into Nova and we really just need the name in the graveyard to activate it first. 1 Unicorn and 1 Access Code in terms of some of the boss monsters that we eventually go into. Because we play Natasha, we play Access Code. If you don't play Natasha, you don't need to play Access Code. Boral Sword is an easy equivalent to the deck, I would say. And our other boss monsters, Appaloosa, you just have to time out your Appaloosa correctly. That's all there is to it. And then of course we have the Vertanic Honda plus a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, because this card is still available in the format, and I think it'd be silly not to play it unless you have, the Hand of Bricks where you will always draw Dark Magician and Red Eyes. Then maybe you should play something else. Okay, the first combo here is Alpha and Ben 10. Some people say that this isn't full combo, and I completely disagree. They just can't see it. If you had Alpha and Diviner, then that's not full combo, but you can now easily fix that as long as you have the ritual spell in your hand, or a Drytron Nova, or anything that would lead to you getting the ritual spell. Then the Diviner is also full combo. That would be a 3-card combo that leads to the exact same thing. But anyways, sometimes you get a bunch of hand traps and you break. But let's start with this one here. Activate the Alpha, sending the Ben 10 to the graveyard as cost, tributing it, summoning this card into the field, and also adding to your hand an Eat a 10. You need a ritual monster in your hand, or unless you already have another Drytron name. But regardless, now the Ben 10 is going to activate, and that's going to fetch us the Diviner of the Herald. Normal summon of Diviner of the Herald, send the Herald of the Arclight into the graveyard. You're going to need a ritual spell, so that's exactly what we're fetching. We're going to go for Meteonis Drytron, and now we're going to activate the Meteonis Drytron right away. This is now level 6, don't forget, and we're going to tribute our Alpha and summon back the Ben 10. If you already have a different name, then maybe you can go for Eat a 10 and hold on to your Meteonis Drytron so that you can use the effect to add it back to hand later on, giving you additional ritual summons and just a little bit more flexibility later on during the combo. So now we're going to overlay both of these, and we're going to go into our Beatrice first, and we're going to detach the Ben 10 into the graveyard to send into the graveyard our Gamma. That's why we added our ritual monster into our hand, and that's why we went for Eat a 10, and instead of ritual summoning this one out, we decided to go for the Ben 10 from the graveyard. Next, we're going to activate the Gamma, sending the Eat a 10 into the graveyard, summoning back our Gamma, and that's also going to tag along and tether out our Alpha from the graveyard. That's fair, right? Now we're going to activate the Meteonis Drytron and target the Alpha. Now, depending if you only run 1 copy of Meteonis Drytron or 2, the next card that you send to the graveyard might change. I'm running 2 for this particular reason, because watch what I do here, which is I'm going to go into Mu Beta. All right, and this is going to allow me to actually proc my Ben 10 one more time. We're going to activate Move Beta's effect. We're going to send into the graveyard a Zeta. If you don't have an additional ritual spell, you're going to be stuck sending a Delta instead, which is fine. I think that's okay too, but you just don't get as many searches in my opinion. So we're going to put a Zeta into the graveyard. Next, we're going to activate this Meteor's Drytron. I mean, this one has already activated from the graveyard, so we can't use the grave effect anymore, but we're going to detach our Gamma, and we're going to summon back. Now, we're going to summon back our Ben 10. All right. Now we're going to activate our Zeta, tributing the Ben 10, summoning the Zeta onto the field, and we're going to add the second copy of the Meteor's Drytron. This will allow us to summon out our ultimateness at the very end regardless. And this Ben 10 is now going to activate, and that's going to be able to grab us our Herald of Ultimateness, because this is already used. And from here, we can activate the Meteor's Drytron one more time, and we're going to detach the Alpha, and now we're going to summon out the ultimateness onto the field. All right, that's in the graveyard. These monsters are exactly where we need them to be. Now we're going to link summon into Predaplant Verte Anaconda, pay the cost, dump the Red Eyes Fusion into the graveyard, and put these two into the grave, and now you can summon your Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. So that's kind of the end board that we're seeking at this particular junction, but that's how we can still just use the just one Ben 10 plus one Alpha to lead to this entire play. Now, if you only have a Diviner and a Ben 10, yes, your hand is a little bit more kind of crippled, but if you have one additional name, you probably could fix the whole hand on its own, but you are going to be needing some way to actually get into your ritual spell. That's probably the hardest part, because you just don't have access to anything until that card can actually resolve. So anyways, that's the one Ben 10, one Alpha. Alright guys, I'm going to be showcasing to you guys the backwards combo, which is starting with the ultimateness and building your entire hand. I have caught so many people off guard with this, and a lot of people don't try this as their first summon, which is kind of shocking to me, but this is, to me, is the auto win play. Your opponent has basically no counter play if you start with the ultimateness, and if they don't see your hand, they see 3 blank cards, or rather at the end of this, they see 2 blank cards. They're going to assume you're going to have a fairy. Why else would you do a play like this? And to some degree, it can be true. If this was not a Red Eyes Black Dragon, and if it was like an Eva, or rather, even if it was just a Diviner, or maybe even just a simple copy of, say, a Herald of Orange Light that's not live, well, it is live the moment you put the ultimateness on board. So this can be anything. And there's another interaction here. If you have a Delta in your hand, you have another draw that will lead into it. Ultimately, it is a very scary thing to see a Herald of Ultimateness on the board as the first action, and that's what we're going to start with. And we're going to put this Herald of Orange Light back in, and you're going to see how I'm going to build all the way back to the Dragoon play. In fact, I'll have even Beatrice and everything on board as well. So starting off, we're going to activate the Meteor's Drytron, and we're going to toss the Alpha into the graveyard, and this is all there. Now, make sure you guys hit subscribe, ding notification bell, or else you're going to forget about this combo, and, well, if you're going to be missing out. Anyways, now, for the real goods here. We're going to activate the Alpha, attributing the Delta, summoning this, and adding to our hand a Ben 10. Alright? So that part is still self-explanatory. Nothing too complicated there. So we grab ourselves the Ben 10. This is our current hand, and now we're going to activate our Meteor's Drytron, add it back to our hand. So this has been activated, so we cannot retrieve it back from the graveyard. That's our little indicator here. And now we're going to activate our Delta, attributing the Ben 10. That is going to provide us with a draw. So here's the other part where if it's Delta, it's good because you get to randomly draw a card. If you draw into a fairy, that's even better. If you don't have a fairy, well, you can still bluff, and you draw into it. Well, I got Cyber Emergency. 75% of the time, it's going to be something of high impact, because this is also a high impact card, because now you can change your line of combo, and I gave you a little bit of follow-up in case your opponent tries to disrupt you. From here, here's some fun part. We have the Ben 10 activation. Ben 10 now is going to add, here's the thing. You can actually add whatever you want. You can add Eva, and the thing is, if you do add the Eva. That's fine. But I think Eva, you can probably save it for the opponent's turn to dump it into the graveyard. So we're going to add Herald of Orange Light. That really puts a little bit more pressure into your opponent. Like, oh, how do I follow up with this? There's nothing really to follow up, but that's not true. You can overlay these two into the Mu Beta. Once you go into the Mu Beta, activate Mu Beta, and we're going to send to the graveyard the Gamma. We're not even putting in Zeta into the graveyard because I think it's fine. You're going to use Diviner as the key card to give you your second ritual spell. So we're going to dump the Gamma into the graveyard. This is going to give us an opportunity to ritual summon. Now we're going to activate Meteor's Drytron. Now we can't retrieve it anymore. We're going to summon out the Ben 10 by detaching, say, a Delta. And now we get to summon out our Ben 10 again. Now we're going to activate our Gamma, tributing the Ben 10, summoning back the Gamma and our Delta. And Ben 10 is now going to activate. And we're going to grab the Diviner. So from here, we kind of did the exact same thing. We kind of get our full setup here. We're still going to end on our full board. So now we're going to normal summon out our Diviner, and we're going to send to the graveyard the Herald of Arclight. Herald of Arclight is going to fetch us the second ritual spell. And even if you don't have a second ritual spell, you already noticed that you instead of searching for the orange light, you go for the Eva right away. And then you can just go into a Dragoon, and that's all fine and dandy. But this way you have something better for your Eva to banish later on. And from here, we have our Eva sent this. This gave us the ritual spell. We can now take these two monsters. Now this is 6, so we have to get rid of our monsters here that are Drytron named. And we put our Predaplant Verde Anaconda. Now we're going to activate the Meteor's Drytron. We're going to detach the last material here. Summon back the Ben 10, overlay with the Ben 10 into Beatrice. Right? So this is what we can do here. Activate Beatrice's effect, detaching the Diviner, so that we can put the Eva into the graveyard, activate Eva's effect, and now we can banish Herald of Arclight and the Diviner, so that we can grab to our hand the 3 negates that we've set up for, and so that we can grab our Diviner, and now we can grab ourselves the other Herald of Orange Light. And now we can activate Predaplant Verde Anaconda. So even if we do send the Red Eyes to the graveyard, along with basically every other piece, our Dark Magician and our Red Eyes Fusion, here it is. So pay 2,000, and this goes through because you're probably going to force it to go through anyway. Now you can summon out your Dragoon, and that is the working backwards board, so you can get whatever board you want. It is pretty mean, I'd say. And that's kind of the end board here. You have 4 cards in hand, started off kind of the same way. It's just alternative paths that you can get to with the full combo. That's all I got for this video, guys. Hopefully I've earned your subscription by showing you guys the backwards combo. It is something that I never have really highlighted on this channel, but don't forget, there's a lot of good upcoming content, especially with the new format coming up, and I have a ton of it already planned out, so stay tuned for that. New rulings, new things to stay aware of, and a new game state to not botch. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe, ding the notification bell. Thank you guys for watching. Shout out to you Patreons out there. Don't forget to watch me on Twitch at MST.TV_Tombox. I got my affiliate, so thanks to you guys being really awesome. And shout outs to, of course, Farfa. Shout outs to Distant Coder. Shout outs to Pack. Shout outs to Head-to-Head Battles for making it all possible. And what do I do on my stream mostly? I duel you guys. And I like to kind of break stuff down. And sometimes I even let you guys have feature match on the channel for fun. Anyways, that's all I got for this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And don't forget about the ultimate counter guide.